Hey y'all. Well, that didn't quite turn out like it was supposed to. I've got to get the timing right. But anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. It is what in the hell is it? Wednesday, almost Thursday, right? So, I hope you guys are having a great week. Uh I want to talk about emotional manipulation and the influence of emotional manipulation on the good people of YouTube. So, manipulation is just, I mean, we all know the word, but how many times do we really stop to consider what it actually means? But manipulation means that you are engaging in a very specific, cognizant manner to achieve a goal, and that goal is to manipulate another person's emotions. Now, why, if you are manipulating, why are you trying to change their emotions? Well, you're trying to mold that person and guide that person to follow their emotions to meet some sort of goal of yours. In a sense, it's mind control. Now, there are plenty of people that have been in abusive relationships in the real world that they begin to realize early, not early in the relationship, but early in the process of change, they begin to wonder, why did I do that? Like, now on hindsight, I recognize that I really didn't want to give my boyfriend $1,000, but I did. Why did I do that? And so that's kind of the first step, is just like this kind of uncomfortable gnawing awareness that maybe you're doing things that are not really normal for you, and you have to wonder, why in the world am I doing that? Now, this isn't a video about, domestic violence, but it is about manipulation, and for a person who engages in abuse, someone who uses either verbal humiliation, emotional manipulation, physical assault, people that use underhanded tactics to control the people in their lives, they're abusers. I mean, we can call it any kind of word we want to, but a rose is still a rose by any other name, right? So, what you will notice with many people that find themselves in abusive relationships is they get out of one and they think, oh, thank goodness I'm out. I don't ever want to go through that again. And then lo and behold, a year or two later, they're right back in that same abusive cycle. Why? Well, because these abusers recognize that they can't just go around being mean and exploitative from the very beginning. Otherwise, you recognize it and you say, oh no, Buster, not me. So there has to be a period of time where you're getting sucked into the madness, as they say, right? Normally, you would associate that with a love bombing period. Sometimes it's love bombing. Sometimes it is someone being at their very best to show you what a quality person you are. But often, and especially in today's climate, we're seeing more and more where people use their social justice position, their defender of all things good and just. They use that to manipulate the people that find that worthy. And believe me, there are plenty of people. It's happening. These these people are putting companies out of business. I mean, it's the manipulation for politics is everything. It has been really effective. Back in the day, it was a campaign to get you to buy the right cereal, right? They would put the expensive sugary cereals right there at eye level with all the bright colors and all the cute cartoons. And then the healthy, less expensive cereals would be at the very bottom shelf or really high up, right? That's manipulative, correct? So now, though, through many iterations of this and psychologists being hired for all kinds of things. I mean, you look at Phil, Dr. Phil, he made his fortune on jury tampering, kind of. Not exactly jury tampering, but he used this approach that we use, hopefully, for a force of good, right? Where you manipulate, let's say you're talking about, school, academic achievement, or vocational. That's okay. Let me use vocational. That all jobs have a personality profile, meaning people that would excel in that position, they have these very specific traits. And then you, as the person going through vocational counseling, you take this instrument, this test, and it basically breaks you down into your strongest personality traits and factors. And then those two things get matched up, just like a lock, just like a key that goes in the lock, to see if your personality is a good fit for the demands of the job. And then hopefully it's a match made in heaven and you have a bright, shining career and you're very happy with what you do. Same thing, we do the same thing with school. We do, it's with all kinds of, and NASA hires a lot of psychologists, and one of the things that they're working on right now is the trip to Mars. And when you consider people living for 3 years in what amounts to a spacecraft, right? What are going to be the essential factors that are going to help that astronaut maintain his social equilibrium, to stay emotionally healthy, to stay physically healthy, and basically have all the needs met that the human animal requires just to be, at their optimal mentally and emotionally and physically. So you think it's a foolish thing. Well, let me challenge you. Every meal for the next 2 weeks, eat nothing but green beans, canned Del Monte green beans, and you can't add anything to it, can't take anything away. You'll make it about 3 days, and then the stress will set in, and you'll realize very quickly that something happens when we eat, that the various textures and taste, it stimulates the brain, and you feel far more satisfied and alive, nourished, than simply eating the same food every day. So, all that being said, another one of those tangents I enjoy. So with manipulation, people are intentionally using some tool or another, to take you and your feelings to a place that you will then do what they want you to do. And people that get out of one bad relationship and they find themselves in another one, and they get out of it and they find themselves in another bad relationship, and over and over and over, they're making the same critical error, which is they accept the love bombing as normal. Oh, this is what true love is like. No, that is not what true love is like. That is manipulation, which is highly calculated. Nobody in their real life thinks and feels that way unless they're kind of, a little off their rocker. So you got to be careful and be on guard for the whole cycle of abuse. If you want to change that cycle and end up with someone who's going to be different and not be abusive, then you've got to recognize even the love bombing phase is something that's really not healthy. Okay, now that being said, this video is addressing manipulation as a primary influence on YouTube. Okay, we know about it very well in our intimate relationships. We know about it very well in our real life relationships. But can people manipulate you on YouTube? Now, one of the things that I've been really interested in is how being on YouTube, people choose up teams or tribes, right? And that was something kind of new. That was something that I didn't expect somehow. Of course, now in hindsight, I wonder why didn't I expect it? But it is a very powerful influence, and you have to, when you look at it seems like to me the channels that have the most powerful kind of tribal instinct, or kind of what we would call a cult like mentality, what kind of creators are leading those channels, right? What are the personality factors for those creators that so many people become very, very they highly identify with that group, right? That's their people, and they will defend at all costs. And it doesn't matter if that group does something wrong or out of the ordinary. They overlook it and say, well, that's okay because blah, blah, blah. So, you have to ask yourself, when you begin to notice all this and you're studying it and you're wondering, what in the hell are they doing? You eventually get to this place of, is this a deliberate manipulation? Like, are these creators capable of direct influence on people that may be on the other side of the world, right? So, I mean, we can all admit that vulnerability is, it's global. All people carry vulnerabilities. It just may be different. One person's vulnerability may be their love for their children. Another person's vulnerability may be that they're really overweight. Another person's vulnerability might be they've never, I don't know. Maybe they don't have enough money for their basic needs. Things like that, okay? It can be personality related. It can be related to safety needs. It can be a lot of different things, but it is, in fact, true that every person carries some level of vulnerability, and a great many people protect against that vulnerability and may not ever even let people know about it. But other people may let it out, and it almost becomes like a target. And then if they show their vulnerability, then they can really become a target of people with personality disorders that are really good at intentionally controlling your emotions and making you do things that you might not otherwise do. So this question of, can people be manipulated through a virtual environment? And can a creator have so much influence on the subscribers that they can create a situation that will play on that person's vulnerability, resulting in a certain behavior, right? Now you have to ask yourself, well, hold on a second. Why would creators be manipulating their subscribers? Like, what would be the goal? If we restrict this discussion straight to YouTube, then you would have to assume that the creators have a reason for wanting to manipulate or to control the subscribers. And so, as I said earlier, one of the very first things that these types of psychological factors and principles became commercially capitalistic products that people were willing to pay for. That, previously a psychologist was that was for health and for research, right? Science-based. But then, as global media, as the ability to communicate with larger and larger people spread out, and businesses grew, and we became a capitalistic society, which is now in the decline. But then it became clear that people that knew how people respond to different factors, that those people might be able to influence them to buy one product versus another product. And indeed, that is what happened. Lots of people, psychologists, were hired by advertising companies. There are a great many psychologists, they shouldn't be, right? But they are working as consultants to political campaigns. How do you convince a group of people to vote for a certain person? How do you get someone to buy into a dramatic shift in society? Like, instead of getting dressed, leaving your home every morning to go to work, how do you convince an entire nation to work from home? Right? So the need for manipulation of others in a capitalistic society is very powerful. It is in a socialized society as well. What you're manipulating the person to do is just different. It was with a socialized society, you want them to be calm and you want them to accept having less, right? You want them to accept that there will be no future improvement in their status, and that this is what is best for all the people. In a capitalistic endeavor, it's different. You're only limited by your own talents and energy, right? So what's being manipulated is dramatically different, but the principles of manipulation remain exactly the same. And so you got to think that on YouTube, creators are, for the most part, it is a capitalistic endeavor. I mean, people are trading their skills and their talents and their interest for basically financial remuneration. Whether you're getting money through AdSense or maybe super chats or channel memberships, there is that inherent acceptance that when people give of their time to make some kind of product that you're enjoying, then it's customary to respond by paying them for their time, right? So there is an exchange of a social contract, if you will, an exchange of goods and resources. So if the creators are trying to make money, then what would they want to do? They would want to try to get you to come to their channel, right? For the subscribers to spend their YouTube minutes in your channel. And you might even come to realize that when you are crying and you're grieving and you're so sad, then there's more super chats that come in, which is not really a very ethical social contract, right? It's also not very honest, which is where the manipulation comes in. So for people that are legitimately making a product, let's use Plunder as an example because she's, one of my favorites. She makes her videos, she does her research, her videos are wonderful, and she puts them up, and then people respond by watching, and she gets her AdSense money for the minutes watched. That's a good exchange of goods and time, right? Or time being representative of money, or money being representative of time. But what about someone who draws you in by behaving in a socially absurd manner, who's constantly attacking other people? Maybe they just take the camera and show themselves getting really, really drunk every night, or really, really messed up on drugs. And people go in to watch the train wreck, right? It's kind of like you drive past a wreck on the interstate. You don't want to look, but you kind of, do. So unfortunately, on YouTube, the drama channels get a great deal of views. It does draw people. The more bizarre I think that a creator behaves, the more views there are. I'm not sure how long people are staying when they go in and pop in and look at those videos to see, ooh, I wonder what that crazy creator's doing tonight, I'm not sure that they go in and spend an hour, but at least for the initial view count, they do get a great deal of views, and it may just be people popping in, looking for a minute or two, and then leaving, and hopefully going to find a channel that's a little more informative, if you will. So that is not a good exchange, right? Now, if the person is really in crisis, then that's different, because they're simply letting their natural state play out on a public platform, and that is not good. But unfortunately, on YouTube, there are many people that have learned all I've got to do is make a scene, and I'm gonna pump up my algorithm. I'm gonna get YouTube to share my video more, because I'm gonna have more views, and then my loyal subscribers, they're gonna throw money at me, trying to make me feel better. Now, let's be honest. Do all the people on YouTube have enough money that they can be throwing $20 bills at you every third night because you're screaming and crying about something that happened 18, 20, 24 months ago? No, absolutely not. And same exact thing that went on with the fundraiser for Summer Wells. The money wasn't going to Summer, right? The money was going to be going toward this reward fund, I think. which is noble, no question, it's noble, okay? But we're talking about a fundraiser that brought in at least, at a minimum, $32,000 from this community, this small true crime community. That's shocking at best. And I don't even know what came through from like merchandise, because I was asked to share coffee cups that had Summer's face on them as part of this overall fundraiser thing. And I just said, oh, no. No. Why? Because it's manipulation, right? It's manipulation of other people. And look, if it would get Summer back, I'd give everything I had if I knew that it would get the little girl back. But at this point where we are in the process, that's gonna be dependent on police work, right? And there have, how many times, there was a great deal of money put out on the table for Suzanne Morphew, and no one came forward to claim it. So it's very, we have to be careful when people are using little kids, animals, old people. We have to be very, very careful, especially if we're kind, especially if we're, tender-hearted and loving, that we don't put ourselves in a really bad position because we acted in the moment, in the emotion of the moment, and we gave to someone that looked like they were in crisis. I'm all about helping people. I don't have please don't get me wrong. In fact, I believe that we shouldn't worry so much about the big charities and stuff. I'm a believer in the church, the community church, helping people in the community, So anyway, so for a creator who somehow manages to spend 2 or 3 hours a night being outraged and offended by the newest liar, whoever the newest liar happens to be, right? That I'm so victimized. They're lying about me. They're doing horrible things to me. And my dog just died. My little kitty cat just... And don't they know how sad I am? And why do they come and lie about me? It's all so wrong. And this theme, look, in a move that wasn't my finest moment, my grief for my dad played out a little bit on YouTube. So there was one night specifically that I can remember. I don't know. It was, grief is a terrible process to go through, and so things, I wasn't feeling good, and I was a bonehead, but anyway, I did cry about my dad. I tried very hard not to, and if I got emotional, I immediately got off the computer. But also, I took a month off from work, and that included time off from YouTube, and then little by little, I started trying to go live again. But this one particular night, there were other things going on at the same time, so there's that additive effect, right? And I got very emotional and was crying about my dad. I was in shock and embarrassed by the number of super chats that came in. Embarrassed and shocked. But it certainly opened my eyes to a lot of what you see on YouTube, right? And I started watching at that point when I had the realization of what had happened. The problem with that is that while I was in grief, right, while my dad had passed away, there were at least 3 other people in our small community who were also grieving the death of someone close to them, right? So things can get really strange when people are using big emotion to manipulate you to do something you normally wouldn't do. Can we be honest? You're not going to go into the grocery store and let's say you've got $200 to buy groceries for the next 2 weeks until you get paid again, right? You got $200, meaning you got to be on a budget, you got to watch what you're buying, you got to be careful, right? You go in there, you plan out your meals, you know what you're going to buy, what night's going to be left overnight, the whole 9 yards. You get up there to pay, and right there beside the register is a big plastic jug that's got a couple of, dollar bills in it. And on the front is going to be a little kid in a wheelchair. And it's going to say, give, right, to help such and such. Now, honestly, how many of you are going to grab a $20 bill out of your grocery money and drop in that jug? How many of you are going to pull out a $100 bill and drop in that jug? Now, some of you may, because that's still emotional manipulation, right? But you may, if you have a type of, if there's a trigger in you that you connect to this child that's in the picture. But that's not what's happening on YouTube. What's happening on YouTube is people are doing this, oh, I'm so upset. This is how their life, I'm so upset. This is happening 3, 4, 5 times a week. And if you pay close attention to who the super chats are coming from, they're coming from the same people. So this is a very important question about the ability for a creator on YouTube, or I suppose other, social media too, but I don't do social media. This is the only thing I have. So, do those creators have the ability to manipulate the subscribers to a point that they could actually cause economic distress? That $30,000+ coming out of this one community, that is sobering for anyone that's ever been on a budget. I cannot imagine where that money came from, right? So I wanted to sort of go by, kind of go through this, that there's plenty of reason for a creator to manipulate. It can be for financial gain, and we see the evidence of it. Usually it's in very specific channels where the creator is doing certain behaviors that pull at the heartstrings of the subscribers, and the subscribers respond by giving money. And then it'll be those people that give the most super chats, those are the people that the subscriber calls out and gives attention to. Right? So that is conditioning in the most classical sense, and it's emotional manipulation that it's always you're a victim. Either you're a victim of all the other liars on you. Everybody else is the liar. Everybody else is victimizing you. Or It's because you've had something upsetting happen to you. And somehow, because you've had something upsetting happen to you, your subscribers are supposed to throw money at you. It's a very strange economy happening in that a channel that is set up like that is an odd economy for that channel. You go into plunder, you watch your videos, you get information, you get educated, you get entertained, and then you provide money. That makes sense. But to just sit and wait for your favorite creator to have another emotional, what looks to be contrived breakdown, so that you give more of your, what, Social Security money? Like, is this your Social Security money that's coming in and you're just throwing out to someone who's just being victimized by every other human being on the planet? I don't know. Okay, I'm okay. Here we go. You can also be manipulated by socialization, the need to be a part of a group, and I've talked about that, and I do think that has a healthy element to it, as long as you're careful about who your tribe is, which channel you become engaged with. AB and Tiffany Marie, their channels are friendly and comfortable and interesting. There's not a lot of emotional pain coming out of those channels, other than obviously the loss of these kids that they cover. But not a lot of immediate, craziness. But there are some channels that's all there is, and you have to ask. Trauma bonding is really powerful. It's exploitative, and it can definitely, just like trauma can set up for automatic recall, and your brain can just go from trigger to emotional distress, and just boom, you're there. There's no mediating neurons to interfere with the intensity of the memory, right? It kind of happens the same way. I think people that get caught up in these channels, and I think people are attracted to those people. I think they're a lot of people are really repelled by all of that contrived drama. Oh, you're a victim again? Who wronged you this time? Right? Who's lying about you now? It's amazing how everybody lies but you. A lot of people see it for what it is, and they don't care. They don't watch it, and they don't think about it. But then there are a lot of people that almost thrive on that high emotion social interchange. Like maybe those are people that are particularly lonely for whatever reason. And so seeing a lot of emotional discussion and experience, that can kind of feed them what they're hungry for, which is basically human contact. So so there's a lot of reasons that creators might want to intentionally manipulate someone. Some people use emotional manipulation because they're not very good in voicing what their real needs are. Some people engage in emotional manipulation because they don't want to form a real human relationship, a real emotional connection. These people will go to great lengths actually to keep people pushed away from them. Let me think of an example. Let's say, hypothetical example. Let's say someone is married, and every night when it's time to go to sleep, and the husband gets ready to go to sleep, then that's what time the wife turns on the television to watch her favorite movie. Or when the husband goes to sleep, then that's when she has to cook, you know, food for the week, or has to, you know, get online and or do work. You know, maybe she's working all night long instead of going to sleep, you know, when her husband goes to sleep. So that's an example of someone who, even though on the surface it looks like they're in an emotional relationship, maybe they're taking real steps to keep that relationship superficial and pushed away a little bit, right? So people can get very good people that are avoiding true relationship connection. They can actually become really good at using feigned emotion to get what they want. They can turn it off and on. Like, they can make it look like they're just so distraught and freaked out, and then when they get what they want, then it suddenly goes away. Look, think about Candace Wells. How many of us were not in total shock when she and Don did the phone call where he supposedly got arrested? I mean, she gave an Academy Award-winning performance, right? Very effective. But we also know that there doesn't seem to be a real connection, you know. Now, there's a lot going on there, granted, but people can get really good at pretending this big emotion, and it's intentional to get some kind of, you know, thing. Whether it's maybe you're a YouTube creator and your channel's down where it's only getting like 1,500, 2,000 views per video, and you begin to panic because you know the algorithm, and so then you have to go pick a fight with someone so that you can be outraged and you can cry and you can tell your channel how these horrible people are mistreating you. And oh yeah, you know, I'm also, don't forget, you know, I'm grieving the, you know, someone, you know, important, you know, is gone. And then everything gets bumped back up again. And then they're all happy again. Then they're, you know, happy. So, okay. People can also manipulate out of fear. And like, for example, like with borderline personality disorder, the greatest driving force in their lives, for the most part, is fear of abandonment, right? That for somebody that's dealing with that particular set of issues, abandonment is a terrifying prospect. And it's the fear of abandonment is real. I'm not saying that that's made up. It is, and it is a terrifying idea. The thought, this person's going to leave and then I'll never, ever, ever again have anybody else. But they will. Most of us inherently know if one relationship ends, you'll grieve, you'll heal, and then there'll be another one, right? But for people that have this particular diagnosis, it's very difficult for them to accept their own lovability. So it can be really hard. So again, there's another example where they don't want to be abandoned because that's like death, right? It's horrible for them. And so they will intentionally manipulate. For example, let's say somebody makes a group of friends, and maybe this is the first time they've had friends in a very, very long time, and it feels good and safe. And then they begin to feel like, oh, I wonder if they're going to quit being my friend. And so they may invent that they have an illness. Or they may invent that their husband beats them up. Because if they're a beaten woman, then their new friends wouldn't possibly leave them because they're, battling this horrible disease or, being beaten. You see what I mean? So we have to be very careful not to be the kind of person that someone does something that seems odd or unusual or even exploitative, that we don't have this knee-jerk reaction of, oh, there's such a scammer. You liar and you scammer. How dare the liars and the scammers come after me? How dare you target me and bully me? You're such a liar and scammer. Okay, because that is kind of, it's a broken record. It plays over and over. For some unusual, process that's happening, the subscribers don't, I don't know, maybe they become immune to it. More than likely that they enjoy that sensation that they get as they give their money. They feel as if they are being nurturing to the creator that is always in turmoil. Maybe they're not recognizing the creator's not really in turmoil. The creator it's pretend turmoil. They're inventing turmoil. You could create a spreadsheet, actually. You could create a spreadsheet and you could document each day the new trauma that the creator experiences each day. It can be fairly shocking how so many tragedies can happen to one human being, really. Yeah. You could also create a spreadsheet of all the people that have lied about the creator that you're throwing all your hard-earned money at, or that you're following blindly as they exploit you. You could just keep up with all, oh, she called this person a liar, she called this person a liar, she called this person a liar, she called this person a scammer, called this person a scammer, called this person a liar, called this person a liar. The spreadsheets can come in pretty handy in plotting and recognizing, themes that emerge, repeat themselves over and over, right? Another reason that people might manipulate others is defensiveness. And for these people, they just have low self-esteem. They, in the private part of them, they just don't believe themselves to be worthy or lovable or competent. And so it becomes a game of hiding their incompetence, and very often that can be done by hyper focus on highly emotionally charged topics or events. I mean, can we be honest? Plunder. There's no emotional outrage. Am I right or wrong? You go watch Plunder, or you go watch It's a Crime, Stephanie Harlow. They're just reporting information. They're just giving you the story. Or new information that they've uncovered, correct? And it's enjoyable. It's fulfilling. It feels good when you go to those channels because you're learning something, and our brains love new information. Our brains love that stimulation. You also sleep better if you're learning new things. Did y'all know that? You actually sleep better as you're learning new things. So it feels good to go to those channels and doesn't have all that emotional baggage that goes with it. There's other channels that you go to and it's exhausting, or you're laughing because it's so crazy. It's crazy to watch, and then it's crazy to watch the subscribers who buy into this each night over, and it's very difficult to understand on the surface, right? But you get down below the surface and it's very simple to see exactly what's happening. So Plunder and Harlow, they know that they're competent. They know that the product they're putting out is great. They know that. They're confident. Scott Rice, he knows that his information is fine, right? So you don't get all this other baggage. You don't get all these games. But someone who lacks confidence, someone with low self-esteem, they can be highly defensive, right? And we know when people get defensive, they try to, try to create distractions. They move the goalposts so that what they originally complained the problem was now it's something new, and you're just kind of like, what are you talking about? Okay, so trust me, once I sat down and I considered, can creators actually manipulate people that could even be as far away as the other side of the world? Without a doubt, I've now arrived at the conclusion of yes, we can. I mean, people, can we be honest? People are falling in love over the internet with people they've never met, right? And I have a theory about that too, but that's a different video. So, what are the tactics? What are some of the tactics that are used? Well, there are, an agreed. There are different types of manipulation, depending on what class you're in, what the teacher wants you to know. But essentially, you always get like Big Ten lists, right, or the top 5, something like that. But I think that no doubt what we see the most with the YouTube creator stuff and the manipulation is an intense emotional connection, right? That an abusive person, if they become a creator and they know how to manipulate people, they can create a situation where the subscribers are experiencing an intense emotional reaction. There's research that was done. They wanted to see what it would take to get a stranger to call another person for a date. A one-time encounter, and then would that stranger call the cohort for a date. And so they went to a mall, and they had somebody walk up and say, oh, I like your shoes, or I like your shirt, or I like your smile. Here's my number. Call me. Maybe we can go out sometime. And this was men and women, okay? The cohort was sometimes men, sometimes women. And I don't remember now what the exact statistics were, but it wasn't remarkable, the number of people, as you can imagine, it wasn't remarkable the number of people that were calling strangers for a date. Most of the time, the cohort never heard anything back. And they picked very attractive people, right? But it just wasn't statistically significant, the number that were getting called. Then they added a new element, and it was that they had the person, the target, walk across a bridge, like an old wooden rope bridge that was across like a canyon. So it was scary. It was terrifying, really. Or depending on who you are, maybe you would define it as stimulating, okay? But made your heart pound, make your hands sweaty. You were having to really focus and concentrate, and it was, stimulating, scary as hell. Okay. The cohort was on the other side of the bridge. so that by the time the target got to the cohort, the heart was pumping, the brain was awake and alert, and the person was kind of breathing hard, and they were, really, really alive. In that setting, the cohort would say, "Oh, I watched you come across. That was so great. You did so good. Here's my number. Call me if maybe we could go out sometime." And guess what magically happened? A statistically significant number of people called for a date. Why? Well, the only thing that changed was the setting and the fact that they were in a heightened state of stimulation. So this goes back to trauma bonding, right? It's got a lot of different applications, but for what we're talking about, trauma bonding. So for creators that can create this environment where people are getting outraged, or they're being moved to tears, they're wanting to protect the creator, people get attached to that creator all the more. Interesting, right? But what do we know about love bombing? Love bombing is designed to do the same thing. Love bombing is designed to draw in the person, unsuspecting victim, to draw in the unsuspecting victim, create a great deal of intense emotion, and once they have you hooked, then comes the splitting, isolating you from all the people that would tell you, hey, your new boyfriend, he's an abusive creep. Got to isolate you from all those protective people. No more family time, no more friendship time. And then after the splitting is complete, then comes the devaluation and the abuse and maybe the murder. Okay, and they know what they're doing. They play this out in every relationship. So for a creator to create an environment where they can evoke intense emotion from you, that's the equivalent to love bombing. It's not, having somebody sending you roses every day is a pleasant feeling, but watching somebody have an emotional breakdown because their husband beat them, it's an intense emotional reaction, but it's not really considerably pleasant. But the brain likes to be stimulated, and so it does create a sense of attachment. There is the term trauma bonding, and trauma bonding, just like anything related to trauma, it's intense. Trauma as classical conditioning is powerful. It's very hard to break. So I think that, people on YouTube, we need to be alert and aware if there are certain creators that are playing on your insecurities. For example, you remember when I said at the very beginning of this that all people have vulnerabilities? And if you don't have vulnerabilities, then you're not open for manipulation, because manipulation requires you to have that intense emotional reaction. And most of us, to manipulate somebody from afar, you would need to have a vulnerability, a trigger, if you will, right? And so do you have some creators that use things like calling other people liars, like all the time? Everybody's a liar. Do you have some people that make fun of people's age? Let's face it, it is not really fun to get old. There's a lot that goes with it, physically you get sore, you start having chronic pain, maybe you don't sleep as well. You're seeing your beauty fade, or your youthful beauty fade. A lot of people I don't care about wrinkles, but yeah, it to aging at some certain point, it can become a trigger to some emotions that you have to learn to come to terms with and make some sense of it. But someone can use that to manipulate others, to cause pain, or just like weight, making fun of somebody because of their weight, making fun of somebody because of their lifestyle. Right? There's nothing funny about somebody that may have chronic pain, and so they're not really able to be very active. So perhaps they do a job where they're able to sit most of the day, but they're working. Like the computer gives a lot of people that opportunity, now. That doesn't mean that person is bad. You're not exceptionally awesome because you can, walk a mile, or because you can ride a bicycle. That doesn't make you awesome compared to somebody else. It just means that you're trying to take care of your health, and that's a noble thing. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you start making fun of other people who may not be active, you're kind of making a lot of assumptions, Maybe you don't know anything about that person and their history. So why do you use the fact that you want to walk for your health? Why would that suddenly become a weapon that you use to shame and embarrass another person? Why would you do that? Well, maybe you're manipulating your channel into being loyal to you, not abandoning you, and maybe throwing in a little extra cash, just, the cherry on the top, right? So there is creating an intense emotional connection, and they will absolutely lie. Remember what I said about being afraid of being abandoned? So they'll say their husband is beating them, or that they've got a bad disease, right? Playing on people's insecurities. Those people over there are no good. Those people over there, they're all trashy, and they're all liars, and they're all scammers, but they're not like us. Those of us in our community, we're the good people. We're the normal people. But those people over there, they're not. They're all old, and they're all fat, and they're all dumb. None of them graduated high school. They're all bad people. We don't associate with those people. They're telling y'all that I'm lying to you. You're not that dumb. You would never believe that, would you? Well, oopsie, because you are lying, right? But when you're in that moment, that person has created this intense bond with you emotionally, even though it's contrived. You're feeling a part of the group, something bigger than you, and that's rewarding. And now this person is telling you that you are better than all these other thousands of people in a different community. Are you going to be the one to stand up and say, hey, what proof do you have that they have called you a liar? Like, where's your proof? What are you talking about? You're not going to do that. You're not going to take the chance, right, of the abuser abandoning you. You're not going to take the chance that the abuser is going to banish you. And isn't that how the abusive husband works? Isn't that the beginning of domestic violence? Now, if people begin to question this economy, if you will, then the most expected reaction is to change the subject. So they may go on for 4, 5, 6 nights on the same topic, and that is drama, 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 drama. And then when people begin to roll their eyes and go, oh my God, not again, what in the hell? then suddenly they may jump up and say, oh, we're going to go swim with the dolphins today. Okay. It's just like, what? Huh? And it just kind of throws you, cognitive dissonance, right? Um, Another way to manipulate people is to use fear. Now, fear of being banished from your tribe is very powerful. And it can force you to accept a lot of things that deep down in your heart you know are not right. And you'll probably lose respect for that creator when you have that realization, but you're not going to voice it because those are your people and that's who you want to talk to. Those are your friends that you've made. So even though you may not care for the creator any longer, you still maintain your relationship with that group. The problem with that is you continue to expose yourself to all of the nonsense and all the drama night after night after night. Hopefully it doesn't take a toll, right? But I'm just here to create awareness. I'm not here to tell anybody what to do. It's just awareness. That's education, information, right? But there's other kinds of fear as well. How about this? How about lying and telling your subscribers that, you committed suicide? Does that create fear? How about crying and then suddenly you disappear and you don't tell anybody where you went or that you're okay? How about saying, oh my God, the police are here. Oh my God, the police are here. And then click in the live, don't come back for a couple of days. Is that fear? It is fear. And it's manipulative, but it also makes you more committed. It keeps you hanging there waiting. It's just sort of like a prime, it's just sort of like something to refresh the trauma bonding. Keep you around, keep you from leaving the channel, right? There's also a lot of passive aggressive stuff. Everybody knows a lot about passive aggressive, giving people the silent treatment, rolling your eyes when they talk, talking over them, not allowing other people to have, a voice. And then, of course, gaslighting, which is telling people, no, what you saw, your eyes are failing you. What you heard, your ears are wrong. They just are telling you that not to trust your own senses. So be very careful about how you approach this whole YouTube thing. Human manipulation is alive in every relationship. It's not just manipulation doesn't occur only in abusive relationships. We're manipulating each other all the time. If you think of something. Let's say that we get a new therapist where I work. If that therapist is someone who is funny, right? Doesn't really take herself or himself seriously, makes jokes, kind of extroverted, I'm very likely to go and say, hey, you want to go have lunch? Or, let me introduce you to this person, or let me go show you this. Because it's the kind of thing that I respond to. I like people that are happy. I like people that are lighthearted and kind, right? Just that don't put themselves first before everybody else. But if it's a therapist that comes in and begins to tell me, about what a hot shot they are and how they did this the best and that the best and they were the best here and they were the best there, I'm just going to be like, you know what? There's a whole lot of chiefs here and not many Indians, so I'm not impressed. I don't like people that are really that truly believe they're better than others on any level. I just can't. And you get a lot of that. What's the PhD? Piled high. No, yeah, piled high and deep, right? There's a lot of that in academia. There's a lot of it. People believe in that somehow they're superior to others, and I'm always like, it's a job. You're being trained to do a job. There's nothing about this process that is somehow, giving you a five. You're not becoming like a 5-star general, right? It's just training for a job. So calm down there. Relax, Hitler. So I don't respond well to people that are really impressed with who they are. Um, so there is manipulation that's going on all the time. Listen, if Girl Scout cookie girls come around, yeah, sorry, Bill, but I'm gonna spend all my spending money, and the fridge is gonna be full of cookies because I can't stand it. You know what I mean? I was a Girl Scout, my daughter, and it makes me happy. I like the Girl Scout cookie people, right? So there is manipulation that happens in a good way. Um, St. Jude, every year I do their big raffle. Um, I've got money that leaves my check every month that goes to my chosen charity. It's a I get paid every 2 weeks, and that goes. I get some that takes out of my check, goes to my preferred charity. Um, so that kind of helps me retain control when I go to, let's say, the grocery store, and they say, "Oh, would you like to give $1 to whatever, like St. Jude or what, or cancer?" I think they say children's cancer. Isn't that what they say? Then I can say, no, I give to them, but it's my, I know why I'm doing it. It's on my terms, and probably Bill wish I wouldn't give as much as I do, but um, it's comfortable for me, right? And so, but it's on my terms. I know what I can afford, and that's what I've agreed to, and I don't let them guilt me with the little $1 or $2 stuff. But so there's some good, manipulation isn't always a bad thing. If you're dating, of course you're going to try to manipulate each other. You're going to be on your best behavior. You're going to try to tell your funniest jokes, or have your best pretty hair and makeup. I mean, that's normal and it's good. Just like anything in psychology, doesn't become a problem till it's a problem, right? We all have personality, but it takes something out of the ordinary to become a personality disorder. So, manipulation is a normal part of human interaction, but when you are being manipulated on purpose, when it is contrived, with the goal being either cash or to keep you tied to that channel so that you don't have the audacity to leave them so their views go down, then it is a disorder. At that point, then it is dangerous and it is wrong. Yeah? All right. Okay. I'm going to prepare myself for incoming, but that's okay. I think it's good for me to learn how to manage, some of the outrage. Okay. Um, so I want to play this call. 1 minute, let me share my screen. Hold on. The call. And I took this off of Tiffany Marie's channel, so I hope you will go over there to her channel and subscribe and tell her that Jules sent you. And I want you to listen to the manipulation that happens on this particular call only because it made me chuckle, right? Because this person's not really very good at manipulation because it's too noticeable. Okay? All right, here we go. Let me make sure my sound is turned all the way up.
Maybe I picked the wrong one to say that about.
Yeah, you might be the wrong one.
I mean, you think about it. Think about it. I'm serious, sweetheart. Think about it. How many...
Okay, now this guy's constantly saying to Tiffany, "Oh, sweetheart. Oh, sweetheart." I wonder if I didn't go far enough back.
Grandma ain't been out here on a friggin' joyride vacation.
Yeah, I didn't go far enough back. Hold on.
John has his foot so far on Candace's neck, she can't do shit. Okay? Now, come back to this. Okay?
Wait a minute. So Don, Candy King knew that Don was taking showers with Summer and molesting her, and there was a man at the bottom of the hill and a woman.
There's another man and a woman involved in this. The man is the getaway driver, okay?
Okay. I don't know what this guy's doing. I'm going to take a guess. Okay? I think he likes Tiffany Marie. That's what I think. And I listened to this call over and over and over, and because I said to myself, with the lies that are told in this call, you're just sort of left with your jaw hanging open, asking yourself, what the hell? What would make a person interject themselves into this story, the disappearance of Summer Wells, this most just horrifying, situation. Everyone is looking for this baby. What would make this guy tell such an enormous lie, right? So I've come to the decision that he really was just trying to get Tiffany's attention. He just wanted her to like him, I think. So I'm going to start this call over now that I've made that assertion. Now let me start the call over. I think it's going. Should start any moment.
Okay. Hey, everybody. I'm so sorry that I made you wait so long. It's been like way too long, 45 minutes late. I'm usually not that late, but I had trouble getting this file to play. And I won't even go into it all, just a bunch of roadblocks, but I have it and it's fine. So I'm going to play it for everyone since there seems to be so many questions and people believe that it wasn't real or it was altered. AB put out all of the valid points, in my opinion. He did a wonderful job presenting that to everybody, and I appreciate him for that. And I don't know what all the noise is about, but maybe after I'm done playing this, someone can tell me what they think we left out or what might have been sliced and diced and chopped and screwed. I'll wait for the comment section. So I'm going to play it. You want to hear the call? This is the whole call in its entirety.
John has his foot so far on Candace's neck, she can't do shit. Okay? Now, come back to this. Okay?
Wait a minute. So Don, Candy King knew that Don was taking showers with Summer and molesting her, and there was a man at the bottom of the hill and a woman.
There's another man and a woman involved in this. The man is the getaway driver, okay? The man is the one that was driving the truck sitting at the bottom of the hill. There was a woman came up that hill on the back side and lured Summer out of there. Went in.
Okay, now listen. Molly Golightly pretty well proved that this isn't true. Okay? Because she tried to climb Wells Hill on the backside, and she said that she was hanging onto a tree to try to avoid basically busting her ass. So you need to go to Molly's channel to watch it because it's pretty, she's having a good time. It was her and 3 other people, but they were, they're actually there. So, so this is highly suspect already. The story is outrageous, right? This guy is claiming that Summer is alive, that they have eyes on her, that they're watching her, that Grandis made arrangements for somebody to take Summer away because CPS was coming to get her. The story has changed, a little bit, but nevertheless, it is an outlandish story. And for this guy to tell Tiffany Marie this crap, you just have to wonder, what was he thinking? I mean, the FBI has been involved in the missing Summer Wells. What did he think? And I'm going to tell you, I would have done exactly what Tiffany Marie did. I would have done exactly what she did. I would have recorded this. I would have taken it straight to the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. No questions asked, right? Because this is crazy. For one thing, what if he's telling the truth? That then it's even more crazy. But if it's not, then it almost makes you think, well, did he have something to do with it? And now he's trying to get attention off of Dawn or off of Grandma. I mean, it's a crazy story.
In the house, Grandma distracted Candace long enough for this to happen. If you don't believe me, you wait another 2-3 weeks. Wait another 2-3 weeks. Tell me if what I'm telling you ain't true.
Okay, now he's claiming that in 2 or 3 weeks, Summer Wells is going to be back. She's going to be returned somehow, right? Well, this all took place it was the first week of November, and we're now December the 9th. It's been more than 3 weeks. So this is manipulation. This is manipulation of Tiffany.
But you cannot. All this bullshit about drugs this, drugs that, sold her for this, sold her for that, was renting her out in the shed. That's bullshit. All that.
And this is what I'm talking about, that TBI needs to know about this phone call, because now this guy is directly saying, it was about drugs, or it was about selling children, or it was about this. That's all just bullshit. That's not happening. Oh, really? How do you know? In my mind, because I do like the conspiracy stuff, right? I do go there. Because to me, it's all theory, right? It's not conspiracy, it's theory. What I think to myself is he involved in the group? Is he involved in the drug selling? Is he involved in this so-called or ill-placed cornbread mafia? It's not really their name, but the country boy kind of mob work. Maybe he's involved. Maybe the heat, maybe the missing, Summer Wells going missing. Maybe it's interfering with their commerce. Maybe the cops are watching and they haven't been able to move their product as much. Maybe this is a way for them to try to change the narrative. I mean, can we be honest here? There are a couple of people that are now a part of 2 or more of these stories. And I mean a part. Like, they've gone in And they seem to be really good friends with the drug people that have lost these children. Cash Gurnan? I mean, come on. Of course there was drugs being used in that house. Of course there was. Candace and Don? And now you got a couple of people that went and befriended the people related to what was her name? Monica? Went and befriended them and was hanging out with them. And now they're doing the same thing with Candace. Hanging out with her, befriended them. Is this part of the drug trade? I'm not a stupid woman. It's got to come into the country from somewhere. And then it gets distributed, correct? Out into the communities across the United States of America. Why wouldn't these people be on YouTube? Why wouldn't they? It's become clear now, the power of the crowdsourcing, if you will. Look at what happened with Gabby Petito, right? It was a YouTuber that basically found the van and therefore made it possible to find Gabby. You think if you're a criminal and you're willing to move drugs or other things, perhaps humans, right? You think you wouldn't try to get in on some of that GoFundMe action? You think you wouldn't try to get in on some of the AdSense, making videos? Because that's what this person did, made good friends with Cash Gurnan's caretaker, I guess I'll call her, and tried to make money off putting her on his channel. Wanted everybody to know that she was his friend. Now same thing's going on with Don and Candace, making friends with them, making money on their back, putting, all drunked up, messed up, and putting them up on the channel, make money. I hear, I don't know how true it is, but I hear that one of these people, their channel was made 11 days before Summer went missing. That is very. Look, there are probably hundreds of channels made every day on YouTube. I recognize that. Maybe dozens, maybe not hundreds, but for sure dozens, right? But we didn't have that happen in the Cash Gurnan case. We didn't have somebody making a video just right before they went missing. We didn't have that happen in the Suzanne Morphew case. Somebody making a video, making a channel, and then their first video upload is immediately after Suzanne goes missing. That didn't happen. So it's not definitive. It doesn't mean, yes, it's nefarious, but it's uncomfortable. It definitely opens up a door to raised eyebrows. It could be something, but probably more than likely is not, right? All right, so let's go ahead and listen to the manipulation on this call.
It's just a bunch of bullshit. What happened is Grandma saved that little girl's life. So, I don't know, but there are people that do know.
Like
She's
law
okay.
enforcement?
Oh, and that's something I neglected to say early on when I was talking about manipulation. People that intentionally manipulate others, they recognize that using vague statements Vague accusations. An unnamed source says, oh, but people know. I'm telling you, people, they know. You're being manipulated because it's virtually impossible to verify an unnamed source. It's impossible to verify those people. But it makes you sound like you have authority. It's really just a lie. Any kind of news article you read that says an unnamed source said, just throw it away. It's not real. It's not real. They're lying.
Private investigator and the FBI knows.
Why?
But there's one missing piece, and that's the girl that lured her at the woman that lured her away.
And that's the hook. There's the trauma bonding. The thought of an unknown woman luring a small child away from their home, and they don't know who she is. They know everything else. Okay, well, where's Summer then? Who's taking care of Summer? A man? But the point is, it's all a lie. None of it's true. But that's his way of prolonging the bond. That's his way of keeping Tiffany sucked into the madness. Right? The love bombing comes from, I know where Summer is. It's okay. She's alive. So in theory, then Tiffany gets a great sense of relief, and it's a good feeling to know, oh, she's okay. Now tell me, how do you know? Tell me the specifics. And so now he's got to manipulate just to give her just enough information to keep her believing him, but there's got to be a missing piece, and that's why I just can't tell you yet. I just can't tell you. But there's only one missing piece, and then it's all going to happen. Right? I mean, the FBI knows. Right? Now, Tiffany's smart. She didn't fall for the BS. She recognized it for what it was. For example, Barry Morphew. He was arrested. He's going to trial for murder, and they don't even have a body. So why would they hold up rescuing a little girl just because they don't know who the one kidnapper is? That's stupid, right? Okay, let's listen to this.
And that's what they're waiting on.
How do they know that Summer's safe?
They got eyes all over her, honey. But they cannot finish what they started until they find out exactly who Grandma had to lure her away. Because Grandma's not talking. She's afraid. Grandma ain't been out here on a friggin' joyride vacation. Grandma's been in the box.
And now I'm beginning to think that Grandma is running the cornbread mafia. That she's the big Dawn.
Is she back in Tennessee?
Yeah, she's back. She came back for about 3 days and gone again. Because she's going back to make sure Summer's okay and taken care of. Grandma's going to be a hero. But now, see, here's the thing, Tiffany. We need people to stop showing Candace hate.
Okay, now why is that, Chase, on the case? Why is it that we need people to stop showing Candace hate? Why is that? Because all of you guys are making money running drugs? I don't know. It's a guess. I'm living in conspiracy theory world, right? It's speculation. But why do we need that? Like who, Chase? You and the other little dogs that are in the cartoon? Y'all need the eyes to be off of Wells Hell? You need everybody to stop looking at Candace and Don. Why? Because it's been too long of the operation being shut down? Just curious, just speculation, nothing more, nothing less. I'm responding to your words.
We need people to say, you know, Candace, we know Don's got his foot on your throat. Just talk. Just talk. Get away from him. Leave his ass. Talk. Candace ain't the bad person here. Now look, I know she may have whatever drug problem in the world she has, but you cannot tell me that this woman didn't love her kids in some way, shape, form, or fashion. She had those kids somewhere doing something with them every day.
Well, but they didn't take a bath, right? I mean, they could have used a bath. They could have used a trip to the doctor, to the dentist.
Go look at it unbiased. Look at all the pictures she posted of her kids. I'll be willing to bet, Tiffany, that she's got more pictures of those kids posted than you have of your kids.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Well, but now think about it. She has more posted than most people. Am I right, honey?
Yeah. I've never denied that about Candace always being. Oh my God, no! I've got 40,000 photos in my phone of my son playing football and all of this stuff. Jeez, I'm gonna.
Maybe I picked the wrong one to say that about.
Yeah, it might be the wrong one.
You think about it. Think about it. I'm serious, sweetheart. Think about it. How many women out here have that many pictures of their kids posted? None of them. She has those kids gone and doing something with them every day. Nobody can make me believe that woman didn't love her kids. I don't care if she's a fucking heroin addict or not. The woman loved her kids. But
So it's generally a rule of thumb when somebody is in addiction, the thing that they love is their substance. They don't even love themselves. They just think they're consumed with thoughts of getting their substance. It's very hard for them to love other things.
Grandma saved Summer. She's going to take heat for a while.
Okay, but when is Summer going to be put in the hands of law enforcement? Like, when is she going to be turned over?
Let Grandma get back to where she's going. It ain't going to be long, honey. It won't be much longer. Just and don't believe me. Think I'm that's fine.
No, I don't think that about you. Jeez, I wouldn't even talk to you.
What do you want to bet? If you could talk to the women that Chase on the Case has dated in the past, what do we think? Do you think that they would all say that he engages in love bombing? Right? Too much, too soon kind of thing? I mean, it's just, when he's talking to Tiffany, it's just constantly sweetheart, honey. It's either very condescending or it's manipulative. I don't know which of the two, because she tells you she doesn't know this guy. She doesn't know him.
Ew, if I thought that.
Okay.
That's fact.
Yes.
Okay, so where did fucking Candace take off to now? Candy, Harrer, back to fucking Wisconsin?
She's going, no. Indiana.
Indiana.
Yeah.
The hell? Indiana.
Yeah.
Who lives in Indiana?
People's family, people's this, people's that. That's where she wasn't in Wisconsin long.
Barry Morphew used to live in Indiana.
Okay. So she went back to the house and she left after 3 days?
Yeah, she's done gone. I mean, she's done gone. She's done gone again. She came home. She's gone again.
What did she go home for?
Who knows? I don't know. Maybe she came home to give people information that she needed to give. Grandma's gonna be made out to be the hero.
I'll make her the fucking hero if Summer's alive.
She's alive, Tiffany.
Okay.
This is so shady.
Well, they better get on top of it before Don says something crazy, Chase.
He has no clue. Don has no clue. That's the stupidest motherfucker I believe I've ever met in my life.
So he wasn't there that day.
Huh?
He wasn't there that day?
He was not. He was not there when Summer went missing. He was not at that house. He went to lunch from 3 to 3:30. I mean, the sumbitch wasn't like, he didn't go meet Candace and Grandma. He didn't go meet this. Grandma pulled this off because she knew Summer was getting molested, okay? The boys wasn't getting molested, all right? But the fact is, if a girl's getting molested, they're gone. The family.
What? What is he talking about? They're gone. Like Summer? Like Summer's gone? This is so suspect that he's making out Grandis and Candace to be these great, loving people. It's there's an agenda here. The question is, what is the goal here? Is the goal to get the attention off of his group of friends because their operation shut down? Or is the goal to make Tiffany notice him and think he's some kind of hero? I don't know.
You'll never see him again, right? Mm-hmm. So Grandma got her gone. She got her out of there, but they knew the CPS was coming that next day. She finally told Candace what happened, and then she got the hell out of Dodge. When Candace had her interview with Chris and him, you'll look, when she talks about something, she doesn't cry very much because she knows she'll see Summer again. But when it's about them boys, she starts throwing a hell of a lot of emotion. But she did with the boys because she don't know if she'll get to see them again. Here's the sick part of it. When I do that video, that billboard, they're gonna cut the Sunday on at 12 midnight tonight.
What are they doing?
They're cutting Summer's billboard on at 12.
Okay, so now this is the part I want you to hear. So he's saying that they're turning Summer's billboard on at 12:30 that night, right? Now listen closely, because he's talking about it. He's gonna be ugly related to Don and Candace. You can hear he doesn't want them there. But following Tiffany's reaction, he instantly changes it to fit Tiffany's voice, what she said. Listen, it's so clear. It's amazing. Listen.
Midnight tonight, but I can't be there till 2 in the morning.
Okay.
I'm gonna stream it. I'm on live it. Okay. I gotta tell everybody. I gotta change the time on it. But the hell of it is, fucking Don and Candace is gonna be there.
Oh, it's their daughter. Of course they're gonna. I would hope they would be there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Tiffany. If you stream it or whatever, don't let people be.
What do you think of that? Is that the most disgusting crap ever? Oh man, ooh, damn, Don and Candace are gonna be there. And Tiffany's like, they should be. It's their daughter. They should care that something like this is happening. That's a good thing. And without missing a beat, this guy turns it around and says, well, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. you know, when you're streaming this, please don't let people be mean to Don and Candace. Please don't let them talk crap to Don and Candace in the live. Yeah. So be on the lookout, people. The manipulation's out there. Now, in this particular case, it was a creator being manipulated by someone who I think has an agenda. It's bizarre that he would tell such a whopper lie. It's hard to even understand what he's doing. Like, it's crazy. But he did. I don't know. And like I said, Tiffany handled it well and reported it and all that. So, but I think it's proven now. I think I've made my case that we need to be just as careful in the YouTube or social media realm. We need to be just as careful about who we are exposing ourselves, you know, making ourselves repeatedly listening to be influenced by people. We need to be discerning. We need to be careful that the people that we're making friends with and the people that we're listening to, that these are people who are being honest about who they are, who are just dealing in reality, and not people that have an agenda, whether it's money, they want your money, they want your minutes of viewing time, they want you to subscribe, and that they're willing to go to extraordinary lengths to lie and cry and accuse everyone of victimizing them and screaming and crying about all the losses that they've ever had. Can we be honest? Everyone has lost someone that they love. It's a part of the human condition. And it doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. It does hurt. It hurts badly. But that's kind of the point, you know. I'm not going to get on my channel and cry and carry on about how much I miss my dad, because I may have a parent listening to me that's missing a child, and then it triggers them, right? They come to YouTube trying to get healthy and get distracted from their pain, and instead I throw them right back into it because I'm trying to get you to give me extra super chats, or I'm trying to get you to keep all your viewing minutes on my channel. I'm not going to do that. It's just wrong. So be careful. We are in this platform, we are all being thrown into a boiling pot. We are being influenced by people that we might never come in contact with in our real day-to-day lives. So just think, use your best rational, logical thought. Ask yourself, does this make sense? What I keep seeing, is this logical? And that might help you. Okay? All right. Here's a good rule of thumb. If every time you go into a person's channel and you leave feeling upset, angry, sad, it's highly likely that you're being manipulated. All right? Okay. I hope you guys have a good sleep night. I'm going to try to go to sleep. I'm in one of my, insomnia periods. But I'm gonna try to go to sleep right now. But otherwise, I will talk to you tomorrow. Okay? All right. Y'all have a good day. Bye.